Nowadays, whenever you're in meetings, you always see people drawing diagrams or making notes straight onto their laptops, notebooks, or even onto their PDAs. So, if you really want to stand out, I say you take it back to the old school with a good old pen and a pad. Little do they know is that this is storing everything that I write digitally onto its own internal memory. The pad, with its 32 megabytes of memory, can store around 80 pages of notes. With the additional software, it can also translate your own handwritten notes into editable text in Word documents. If you're the kind of person that scrawls your notes, then the text converter may struggle to understand what it is that you've written. However, if you're the kind of person that spends all day writing up notes, then for around about $100, you don't have to spend your evening typing them up. Imagine I'm on an aeroplane and I'm squashed up between two people on a long-haul flight. The airlines recommend that I get up and have a walk around to prevent deep vein thrombosis. But I always feel a bit weird wandering up and down the aisles on my own, and the only place to hang out is by the toilets at the back, which isn't pleasant for obvious reasons. Now, if only there was a way I could have a workout right here in my chair. The iFlex is like a portable pocket gym when you're on flights. It's designed to work out the hands, the arms, the thighs and the calves. All this is to keep the blood flowing and avoid the DVT that we hear so much about. Deep vein thrombosis is quite rare, and with one of these you get a novel way of having a workout whilst in your seat. Although you could do the same with a few ankle rotations and some gentle stretching, and then even save yourself on the $15 price tag. Securing your personal items when you're away from home is always a high priority. It's great if you're in a hotel room with a safe, but what if you haven't got one? What if you're staying in a mobile home or on a boat? Then where do you put your passport, your MP3 player, your mobile phone? Well, I found a way that you can take your own security box with you wherever you travel. The Hideaway Safe is just a really strong metal box. It comes with 2 keys with a tough cable which allows it to be anchored to any fixed object. Well, maybe not this one, but you can use your imagination and find something that it could be attached to. This definitely feels like a strong and sturdy piece of kit, but for that reason, it's really heavy too. So if you are going to take it travelling with you, then you've got to consider the extra weight that this brings. Now, I'm pretty sure that any burglar, if they put their mind to it, will find a way of taking this if they really want to. But surely, it's got to be way better than me putting my valuables in my socks under my bed. Oh, I've just given away my secret. Who's paying attention now? Quick quiz for you. What of all these scenarios got in common? This is me standing with my bag waiting to check in. Standing with my bag waiting for a taxi. Standing with my bag waiting for a bus. You get it, right? The one thing they've all got in common is me standing with my luggage. Well, quite frankly, I'm not standing for it. And with this luggage, I don't need to. Because this bag gives me a break from standing. And I can sit on it. And sit on it. And sit on it some more. It can hold the weight of up to 136 kilograms, so you give your legs a rest whenever and wherever you need to. So for $155, it is an expensive bit of novelty luggage, but it's surprisingly sturdy, and I kind of like it. So much so that I find myself nowadays taking it everywhere I go. Cheers.
Thanks, Tommy. Now, in Spain, the region of La Rioja is synonymous with wine. Just south of the Basque Country, its warm but often wet climate means it's perfect for growing grapes. And quality wine is not just great for drinking. In the past decade or so, it's also become an investment, which has led to something of an economic boom in La Rioja, which has meant that many of the wineries there have turned themselves into works of art, becoming tourist attractions in their own right. Rafael Estefania has been to investigate.
The region of La Rioja in the north of Spain has never been synonymous with modernity. It is famous for its wine production and the rows of vines that stretch across the horizon.
When I was a little boy growing up in La Rioja, wineries used to be simple stone structures. The important stuff, the production of wine, was happening on the inside. Now, things have changed.
Zaha Hadid, Frank Gehry and Santiago Calatrava are among the world's best architects who have graced La Rioja with their imaginative and sometimes outstanding designs. All of the structures play with their surroundings. Some seek to complement it. Others, like the concrete Darien winery, to contrast it. López de Heredia is one of Rioja's oldest wineries. Their new shop, designed by Zaha Hadid, speaks of the will to embrace modernity.
A name like Zaha Hadid attracts a lot of people. We receive many visitors because they like wine, but we also receive many visitors interested in architecture. We are traditional because we are one of the few bodegas that has lasted 133 years in the hands of the same family.
Isios, the beautiful winery designed by Santiago Calatrava, mimics the mountain range that stretches in its background. But beauty isn't enough for all winemakers. Some seek to use modern architecture to perfect the art of winemaking.
Todos los arquitectos se han empeñado en hacer obras arquitectónicas.
All the architects want to make amazing wineries, but very few seek to put architecture to the service of winemaking. Our winery is built with a system of terraces that use the force of gravity to help the production of wine, so we can avoid the use of pumps, filters and chemicals. Our wines are totally organic.
The architectural beauties have brought many visitors to the region. Rafael Vivanco, one of the heirs of a local wine dynasty, has built one of the most important wine museums in the world, a good indicator of the visitors attracted to La Rioja.
Estamos manteniendo alrededor de unos 140, 150.
We have around 150,000 visitors a year. 85% of them are Spanish, and among the foreign tourists, the biggest number of visitors comes from France, Great Britain and the USA.
The most prized structure in the region is built by Frank Gehry as part of the Marqués de Riscal winery. Echoes of Bilbao's Guggenheim Museum are present here.
What an amazing building. And the best thing is that you can stay here. Room number 3, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's put Rioja Alavesa on the map. There are other architectural masterpieces in the area, but this is the biggest masterpiece around. It's influenced all the towns in the area. All of them have grown in terms of tourism.
But even this eccentric building is rooted in tradition. It rests on one of the oldest wine cellars around.
And now we're going to get to a very special place. It's almost a secret place. It's a place where they keep the oldest bottles in this winery. Some of them are from the 18th or 19th century, rather.
Over 150,000 bottles sleep in the perfect conditions of this ancient place. After admiring the visual beauties of the wineries, it's time for me to put my palate to the test in a restaurant called La Vieja Bodega, the old winery, and meeting its owner, Angel, who will let me taste an array of Rioja wines.
Curvaceous body, metallic undertones, and contemporary taste. It could be Calatrava, it could be Gehry, it could be Hadid, but one thing is for sure, this is an excellent Rioja wine. Cheers!
Rafael Estefania reporting from Spain. Next week we're in France, where Rajan will be investigating what kind of impact the ban on burqas is likely to have on visitors and the French tourist industry.
I think it's bad for tourism, for economy, and not and bad for the image of France.
In the meantime, don't forget you can catch up with all the latest Fast Track stories by logging onto our website at bbc.com/Fast Track. And if you're after even more advice and inspiration, check out bbc.com/travel, where Venice is the destination of the week, and a feature on countries that didn't even exist 20 years ago. I wonder if you can name them all. Well, that's it from us. See you next time. Bye-bye.